Virginia. Thank you. Hey, I would like to call today's meeting for Williamson County Economic Development to order. It's May 13th, 2025 at 1:32 p.m. First item on the agenda is citizens' comments. Do we have anybody?
Nope.
And with that, we will move forward. Next item is the approval of the minutes. Can I get a motion?
Approve.
And a second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, did they pass? We'll go around and start the updates, but we are going to do our online folks first. And we'll go ahead and start with our new mayor of Spring Hill. If you want to join us and just give us an update.
Yeah, hi Patty, thank you. Couple of things I'll call out for everybody that Spring Hill's been up to lately. We opened our first ever new standalone police station last week on May 6th. Very excited about that facility. It's been many years in the making, and very excited that our men and women now have got a facility that meets their needs. Later on this year, we'll continue with our public safety improvements. We'll be opening a new fire station in November, so can give you all an update on that as we get a little bit closer. Probably one of the biggest things going on in Spring Hill right now is, as many of you are aware, or all of you should be aware, we are in the process of hiring a new city administrator. We have identified 4 finalists. Those are going to be publicly identified in our May 19th meeting. So all from out of state, from different parts of the country, but some very experienced and qualified individuals amongst that group, and excited to share those names publicly here next Monday evening. We'll have them in town probably the first week of June for some interviews that'll also include a public meeting and some public engagement opportunities there as well. Other thing I'll call out to everybody's attention, yes, I am the new mayor of Spring Hill. We also have 4 new aldermen. So there are many changes to the entirety of our board and not just the mayor's chair. It's a very engaged group. 3 of the 4 are small business owners, which should be good news to all the ears of the economic development people in the room. But just a very energetic group that's looking to work closely with the county and all of our regional partners on a wide variety of issues. So from a utility standpoint, I want to give 2 updates. The city entered into an agreement to close on 110 acres of land that we will be closing here later this month or first part of June. That will really be the site of our reservoir, which is the water reclamation project that'll provide the long-term water and sewer capacity that we need as a city. So very excited for that 110-acre purchase since it'll advance our major utility projects and also function as a public park. So happy to dig in where anybody has questions, but otherwise we just got a lot going on.
Okay, thank you. I guess that wasn't fair to make you go first, but I'll go ahead and we'll give it to our new Brentwood city manager. So we'll just throw y'all out to the fire, but Matt did a great presentation, so we can't look forward to hearing you.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Jason Gage. I've been here. This is my 3rd week. So I don't have much of an update except to tell you I'm finding my way to the restrooms and places like that and getting to know the people. But I came from, my last job is in Springfield, Missouri, as city manager, and I'm excited to be here. It's great. It's a great area, great organization, and I'm just excited to get to know everyone there in the organization at Williamson Inc. better. We also, as Matt had mentioned, we have a little change out. We have 2 new city commissioners. And as a result of that, we have a new mayor, Nelson Andrews. I assume some of you know Nelson, and that's hot off the press, I guess, just last night. So we're pretty excited to get involved, and I'm excited to get to know what's going on and how I can be a resource for everyone.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, next we'll go to our city manager, Spring Hill, Victor Lane.
Well, that would be Nolensville.
You'll always, I know better.
And just to be clear, I'm not one of the 4 candidates in Springfield.
And I guess you're an alderman, or I know what Officer Dixon.
So,
Go ahead.
like everywhere else, Nolensville's busy. We are right in the middle of budget times. We have we've had our first reading on their budget, and ours is pretty significant request this year. We had several budget meetings with our council, and we're actually going to ask for a pretty significant tax increase, even though we're going to have on average a 58% increase in assessment. We're still going to be asking for a pretty decent tax increase to basically fund a 5-year plan. We've had quite a bit of discussion about that. The board seems that that's where they want to go. On first reading, we've had unanimous support out of the board for that. Of course, we'll see as the public gives them additional feedback. We'll see where they end up at, but it'll be a fairly significant increase. Beyond that, we obviously are continuing to grow, and good things continue to happen. We've got haven't had any new things since the last meeting that have been approved. We have had some of our prior developments want to get moving that had not been moving yet. A small commercial center that is almost right across from Town Hall. It's on the west side of Nolensville Road, immediately south of Martin's. If you know where Martin's is located, there's a vacant parcel there, kind of in the corner of the northwest corner of Sunset Road and Nolensville. And so they've been approved for a while. They actually got an extension because their approval came during COVID, and they had to do some quite a bit of environmental work. Right during the middle of all that, FEMA changed the floodplain rules, and so they had to come back and do a additional flood study that cost them some time. Anyway, we gave them a year addition to their vesting, and they are getting ready to break ground and try to start moving forward, at least moving some dirt around. So, but all things good.
Good, glad to know Nolensville's doing so good. I will just go around and start letting the cities give updates, since we can't count on me to say things right over here. So I'm like, don't change positions, whatever you do. So we'll go ahead and go with our city manager from Franklin.
Let me let the mayor go first.
Okay.
I've
already written my notes for
Yeah.
But I think the first thing I had on my list was the fact that we continue to move forward after our relocation of City Hall to Columbia Avenue. They'll be putting a fence up around the old City Hall. They're currently inside the building abating whatever things they have to abate. And we hope that it'll be torn down by the end of the month. I think the big news is the property reassessment, and I think I defer to Eric to maybe make some comments about where we're going with that.
A couple things to touch on is we're dealing with the same thing, property reappraisal and what that does to our rate. Hasn't been fully certified yet, but we think our 32-cent tax rate will drop down to just under 23 cents. And we're looking at what we might do with that rate for maybe identifying some additional kind of dedicated capacity. We do have a partnership that is included in the 10-year TDOT CIP plan for them to widen Mac Hatcher Southeast. So we have a partnership funding there. We're looking to push that up. The good news about that project is we own all the right of way, and most of the utilities are relocated. So it's pretty ready to go. And we're hoping to push that up in that 10-year plan, but we're glad that it's in it because they only approved 14 partnership plans across the whole state. We're one of those, so we're glad of that. We had also put in for Northwest to widen that as well. That did not get in that yet, so we'll keep pushing on that piece and see where that goes. Also looking for a small component to be dedicated, just help us keep supporting operations and future needs there. Couple other things to touch on. We'll talk tonight about our first quarter development report, just give you some high level numbers there. And give you the context too, in the last 5 years, total permits issued just over 1,700. That's the highest in the 5-year window. The most interesting number probably for all of us is the construction valuation of that first quarter of activity is over $360 million. So that is the highest first quarter, and first quarter is usually our slowest of the 4 quarters in a given year. And that's the highest in the 5-year window as well by quite a bit. So activity continues to be strong and the level of investment is strong. Incorporated in that is a good bit of permitting for In-N-Out Burgers corporate offices there. So that's running through our process and glad to see progress there. If you drive by that area, see they're working hard on that piece. We had a couple great groundbreakings in the last month. We broke ground on the Pearl and Bransford complex, or what we like to call the Pearl, which is our park located on the southeast part of Franklin. And any of you who know Pearl Bransford know what a great naming that is, what a appropriate naming that is for a wonderful leader who we lost too soon. And so we're honored to name that after her. Our widening of and improvements to McEwen, so from the Pool Springs roundabout out to Wilson Pike, that is underway now, and that's a $46 million construction project. And we've got over 30 million of federal money in that project to date. We're still working on getting some additional funds plugged in, hopefully on the multi-use trail and components there. So those are big projects that we've been talking about for a long time, and it's great to have them underway. And we'll keep pushing along as we go with the rest of that. So board's having more discussion tonight on annexation and development south of Franklin, the Harlan development, and see where that goes. That is an annexation that does have some potential other upgrades to Columbia Avenue in that area, et cetera. So it'll be an interesting discussion and see how that pieces together. It's not an area we were looking for as an immediate growth area, but it has come up, and the developer involved is willing to make some additional infrastructure improvements to make it work. So we'll see how that plays out in the discussion we have tonight and going forward. So I think that covers it for us.
Okay, you want to go into get all the mayors out of the way and cities, and then we can go back. We'll go ahead and do Mayor Anderson, if you want to give us a Williamson County update.
Okay. Let me pull this up. So at 1218, Eric, you got the new certified tax rate from the state. I don't have the cities. That's what I was looking for. The new certified tax rate for the county will go from 188 to 124 and some 4 decimals out. So for Brentwood, Nelsonville, Spring Hill, all of those, the new tax rate has been set. So she's probably waiting on you when you get back here.
But we got yep.
So that'll answer your. It was about $11 billion growth in assessed value over the last 4 years. So you in the ag and the business world, that's just unheard of. Brad Coleman, our property assessor, reported at a recent meeting that of the 4 big cities, that'd be Shelby, Memphis, Davidson, Nashville, Hamilton, Chattanooga, Knoxville, we are past Hamilton County now in assessed value. And if, depending on when Knox is, we're going to be nipping at their heels. So to think that your county, Williamson County, countywide cities and all, will be just a little bit under Knox. Incredible. Says right. But that's amazing. The other thing I want to report, Madam Chairman, is through the efforts of all the city mayors, and the effort over the last couple of years. I really want to say thank you for getting I-65 from basically Old Hickory all the way down to Spring Hill. That got put on TDOT's 10-year plan. So in 2027, staring at you, one of you guys mail me out. 2027 is when they'll begin the engineering side. Is that right, Cal?
No, I'm following your lead on this one, sorry, I'm just not.
27, they'll do the engineering, and the first phase, 45 or $47 million just for engineering.
Wow.
So, that's why it takes so long. It was critical that we get that on the 10-year plan, very similar to what Spring Hill is doing with that piece that the county commission voted unanimously on. I think there was just 23, is that right? Because I'm paying attention. I think it was 23 voted to give the support to Spring Hill last time, so I'm trying to get all that on there, but that's a heavy lift to get ours on there. And the real estate transfer tax did not get passed. We were pushing hard on that, thanks to all of the Williamson group and all of you that made phone calls. It's not dead, but my answer to it is they probably ran out of money before they got to us. And so we're looking to get into that, some of that pot of money for next year, maybe through some different avenues, and I'm not comfortable with saying how we're going to do it, but we feel like that's still an option for us, not at the full thrust of what we're looking for. I think that's all I'm.
Can you describe is that for choice lanes on 65, or is that more for interstate expansion and interchange?
It is for the choice, so that's a good point. Kim, why don't you give a little cursory, because you've done it so many times, and you do really a good job of what the choice lanes was and how they got to where we are. Then I'll take it over for our area. Since you brought up the question.
Well, thank you, Rogers. You're always a great friend. Transportation Modernization Act, there were several opportunities. One was for P3 projects, which were choice lanes, and the first project selected was the I-24 corridor. And then the fact that Rogers mentioned the I-65 corridor, which we've all advocated for, because it's probably one that can be fixed now. And I-24, I have questions whether it can ever be fixed. The other thing that Eric alluded to was the statewide partnership program, where communities could offer projects and offer money into a project to try to get it on the list. And then the extra money, last year the governor put in $3 billion, and this year he put in another $1 billion of one-time money to fund roads. The bottom line of the whole thing is that we've been fortunate for many years to be a pay-as-you-go state, but given the erosion of what our resources will do and inflation, our current program no longer is substantial to be able to build the roads that we need. With the Improve Act, for example, under Governor Haslam, those projects were supposed to be done and within 10 years, if I remember correctly, and with inflation, they went out to 40 years. So the TASER is looking at a study to look at other ways to fund transportation. There was one bill that passed that had to do with tires. And I think it's about $80 million that's going to be generated out of that will help some. But overall, the federal gasoline tax, where we get much of our money to fund roads, hasn't been changed in 20, 30 years. need for some legislation to improve how we pay for roads, on federal and the state level. Is that what you want me to say?
You did a great job. It's like being in Sunday school. Took over and went out.
You're so bad.
So I'll hitchhike on that. So through the efforts of all of you involvement, we were able to present a pretty strong front to the legislators. All of the mayors, county commission association were supportive of this. We got a lot of traction. Thanks, Cal, for, I know, living up there and working it hard.
Jenna Potter.
And guys, Jenna, I never forget Jenna. She is amazing. And so as Ken described, they gave money to 3 grant divisions. Our grant division got to 24, I-24P. And for you that aren't following what we're saying, or these new mayors that haven't been on board a great deal, or anybody else here, the choice lanes is another name they gave for tolls. There's no other way to paint that, but in our state, they hate the word tolls, no roads. So we call them choice lanes. And so you'll be able to get into one dedicated lane. It'll take right now they're thinking license plate reader, maybe a decal, something that will signify to do automatic billing. Everything's automatic. And so you'll be able to just get in that lane and go to National or go to wherever you want to go, pay a certain amount. They think it's going to be very attractive to a lot of individuals and businesses. It's a 30 or 40-year window of a lease that they will contract out with a company that will actually do this with the state, so they're not tying up their cash. So we were not on the 10-year plan. And so we're on the 10-year plan. And so like Ken said, is to expand for that choice lane that it will allow you to get on somewhere around Spring Hill, Murray County side. They take it all the way into right now, Old Hickory, but they have an extra lane or 2 there. So that's the you had to get on the 10-year plan. You got money for engineering, and then of course there's Eric, to do that whole section, maybe $200 million.
Yeah, at least.
Because you got to redo bridges, and I did know how many bridges there were from
20-something.
It's a lot of bridges you got to expand out. So it's a mammoth project before it's all done.
One thing I might add that I did put in the Transportation Modernization Act is that when those P3 lanes are done, they'll be free to public transportation.
Correct.
Which I think is a really important point. Right now, whatever buses we have, express buses we have, they're going at the same speed as the traffic. And the fact that they'd be able to get on and transport many people at a faster rate to get to the destination. We're also interested in that reverse commute because our corridor is the only corridor has an equal in and out. No other corridor, I-24 doesn't have it. The north corridor doesn't have it. So that's perfect for transportation standing, will tell you, to make sure you're not going back empty.
Madam Chairman, just to change it and me get off the front page of this newspaper we're talking about, I do want to give a shout out to Jack Johnson and some others up on the Hill. In the last 30 days of last year, actually in the month of May, the Department of Education withdrew $3.2 million in the last 30 days for education. They said they had miscalculated, and so we were left, commissioners were left with a void there of trying to fill in that last 30 or 45 days. We were able to do that by moving some money around. But Jack, Reeves, some of the others worked very hard to restore that money back into public education. So we did catch on that this year, and that a shout out to them. So public education. got some nearly $4 million worth of, new monies, that we lost last year, so that will help us out on our budget.
Harrison, quick question, you may have said this and I missed it, so now that we're on that 10-year plan, does it change your pursuit of the real estate transfer
No.
legislation?
No.
So,
Yeah, so you've got the road, it's kind of like you and your wife. You found this house you want, there's this other element.
yep. Sorry, yep.
You understand that?
Yes, sir.
He immediately got that one.
Yeah. Understood, cool.
Now, we could probably call upon Will, he would give us that answer.
Don't put me in the middle. That's helpful, thank you.
Okay, is that all, Mayor?
Yeah,
Or you-
So are the choice lanes 70 miles an hour?
I don't know.
They could be faster, like if you need to get somewhere faster. So they're like the fast pass at Disney World, right? You buy a fast pass at Disney World, you get the and
Well, I'm sure it's gonna be Disney World.
I thought it was like Audubon, you could buy this and, you know.
I don't know that answer.
I know, leave it, I know. I was gonna grab, Chris Springhill, he walked in. Did you want to
I'm
give
getting
us?
right behind Mayor Fitterer's comments, so I don't know exactly what he's covered. So I won't say much more than I don't know if he covered about our ribbon cutting for the new police department. He did. See, he covered
Okay,
it.
perfect. I just wanted to acknowledge.
Thank you.
And then, Mayor Anderson, I waited for you for. the
I'm sorry, I was
update.
supporting the women, you know, what was it called, the women,
Distinction.
yeah, distinction, right? They do this, silent auction, and it's to raise funds for the scholarships they give. And there were a couple items that I just had to have. Anyway, so I had the chauffeur bring me here right after, because I always ride with Patty. But, so, I mean, Fairview's did you say anything about
No,
that?
I haven't spoken.
Okay, I mean,
I was gonna wrap
we're
it
just
up.
growing leaps and bounds. I mean, if you come through Fairview, you see dirt everywhere. And, it's exciting. We've got townhomes, single family homes. We've got, you know, everybody took the picture of the first, your neighborhood that was, only 1 million and up, you know? And everybody's, oh, you know, so they took a picture of that, put it all over Facebook and, you know, but, just, our city center is moving along great. We're so excited about that. Restaurants and retail, townhomes and single family homes. And then, you know, we've got our 700-acre, you know, Bowie Park that we just had a big arts and crafts fair. And we've got our big, 3rd of July coming up, where last year we had 29,000 people. I can only imagine it'll be more this year. So just a lot of great things going on, new businesses. Laystar's coming to town. We have the only, our high school has the only mechatronics program in Williamson County. Laystar is a mechatronics business, Department of Defense, where our kids, instead of having to go to Nashville to do their internship, they'll be able to do it in our own community. So that's real exciting. Laystar will probably, it'll be somewhere between 30 and 60 employees to start out. So we've got a lot going on, and you know, we're just real excited. It's great.
The only thing I would add to that is, selfishly, we started a project for Cumberland Road, and, it kind of died after I left, and the mayor and the new city manager got it back going again, and I've got to be a part of it. So we're actually, got a T-Dot project going.
I know,
Cumberland
it's
Road.
exciting.
So, it went out to bid, so that will be starting very soon. Excited about that.
Cumberland 100, it's a traffic light that is needed right where all of our schools are. So, yeah, that got bid,
And I was telling the mayor also, I counted the other day, we have 6 new businesses that have either broken ground or about to open. So in 4 months, we will have like a Sherwood Will, you know, it's Ace Hardware. So we're gonna change really quick on how we look. We're gonna blink our eyes, and that's not even talking about the new businesses that are coming to city center. So anyway, a lot of fun things. We'll just, now that I think I got all the major cities, we'll popcorn around. I know y'all will wanna Matt and, Nathan want to give any updates, then we'll go around. If you have something you would like to speak, we encourage you to share. Nathan, you guys think?
Yeah, so a couple things, well, not actually, we'll call in Nick, so, I think some of you are aware that a couple of times a year, we host a STEAM and STEM day, for our students. We just had it last week, you wanna talk about the destinations?
Yeah,
Chris was there too.
Set it up, so thanks for doing that. I think 120 students. Middle school students went through 7th and 8th graders, to 4 businesses. They went to Equine Hospital in Thompson Station, went to Middle Tennessee Electric Solar Field in College Grove, the Chillin' Nitrogen Ice Cream Shop in Brentwood. What did I forget? Equine. Franklin Water Reclamation Facility. Michelle Hatcher got us in down there. So anyway, really cool experience for students to get to see how what they're learning is applied in real life. Cool. So.
Yeah, so we did that, and then Matt's right, I should mention this, so every year WCS and FSD recognize both teachers of the year, but then also employees of the year. And FSD actually goes down to transportation employee of the year. I think they've got cafeteria. So all in, it's 148 educators or folks that are involved in the schools that are honored at a school level. And so we thought, we always are talking about the foundation of our economic vitality has been built on the backs of schools. And so we explored a way to celebrate those that were honored. And what we landed on was basically a piece that we partnered with our friends at Fifth Third, basically saying, listen, your influence goes well beyond this classroom, that you are contributing in a way that you may not fully understand or appreciate. Just know how much we appreciate you. And then we also put in we used some resources and put in a $10 gift card to Starbucks. And so we got all that done last night, thanks to Jenna. I think we started talking about what training would look like yesterday morning, and I just delivered WCS's today. Turns out a deadline like the end of school really gets us going. So by the skin of our teeth, but I'm really proud of that project, and it's just, a piece of what we're going to celebrate our educators, but, I think it's a really neat recognition.
Yeah,
so
it is too.
Yeah.
And let me follow up on that too. This is something that we actually started and set out yesterday. We're doing an internship survey with all the companies in Williamson to find what companies offer college internships. Are they paid? Are they hybrid? Are they remote? Can you get college credit? 12-question survey. And the whole point of that is to better connect Tennessee college students with them that are really 2 or 3 month job interviews. And so once we're done, we're going to send this to all the colleges we work with, but also encourage other chambers across the state to do the same thing. We would love that if Tennessee colleges had sort of this database of companies that actually are offering internships, and they can then offer it to the students at Tennessee University. So it doesn't have to be people from Tennessee necessarily, but those going to school here, it's an opportunity to keep them in our state as they graduate.
Got any updates for Visit Franklin?
Just gearing up for summer travel season. It's been an interesting time in the way that the greater American economy is impacting individual consumer spending and business travel spending. It's a mixed bag. Weekends are still stronger than weekdays, but it has been a little bit of a rocky year for our hotels. But we're optimistic that we can, push through a good summer, and fall is our best time of the year for people to visit. So we're focusing on how we support that.
Any, Anybody else, Williamson County Schools, any updates?
I am going to defer to Chris Schneider on updates about the hub and then our summer camps.
So the hub, I believe you guys heard about that last time from Dr. Qualls. We can see foundation, we can see cement trucks coming in, and I believe they got their building permit like last week, so hopefully we'll start to see some.
Yeah.
I would love to see some walls, so that'd be great. But the hub is shaping up quite nicely. The other thing that we solidified yesterday is we have 15 students signed up for our first ever fire management program.
Okay.
So these are 15 kids from all across the district. I have every school represented except for one, and I've tried. But we're actually holding a signing at the fire station number 2 on May 22nd at 4 o'clock for anyone who wants to come. Those 15 students are gonna sign their commitment to the class really, and then we're also gonna look at the 5 interns that Franklin Fire is bringing on. So we're excited about that program. And then our summer camps, Winston County Schools, we do STEM camps for elementary, middle, and then we do robotics, working with our elementary and middle. And then I will do our Tackling Emerging Careers, which is a girls focused class on non-traditional careers. We work with Visit Franklin. We work with a group of engineers and architects, and the girls, their favorite thing is get to come and present to the BOMA board after they make their, whatever their plan is. And then our last camp will be fire camp, which is for high school students, and it's a 3-day camp that we put on with the fire department. So I think that's it.
So Chris mentioned the 5 interns, just so everybody knows, they're gonna go through the full rookie class. And they're successful, they'll become Franklin firefighters at the end of that. So we've hired 5 folks out of high school that can transition right into the fire service at, a very professional fire service. Of course, I'm totally biased, but we're really thrilled. And our team kind of came up with that idea. We made some changes in our hiring practices to be able to hire younger folks. And we're very confident in the level of training that we'll be able to provide, that these will be really successful. And in fact, we did some hiring for other folks at the same time, and our folks were like, these interns are every bit as qualified, and we're every bit as confident in them as we are, and older folks that we hired as going into a rookie class. So it's exciting to see, and we're building these feeders from the camp all the way into the fire management program as an academic component. So we're excited for the partnership and appreciate bringing this forward. And it's a great pipeline for us.
Exciting. Anybody else?
So on the transit, we had a good day at the Main Street Festival. It was lighter than it wasn't a record day. Traffic really wasn't as bad as it's been in the past. I don't know if it was because we were competing against the marathon down in Nashville. A lot of people in Franklin that run those races and families go down. So that was part of what we saw. Franklin Transit numbers continue to increase in kind of double-digit percentages. I usually don't mention this, but we have 2 grant opportunities that come in through the Coordinated Human Services, which is done by the NPL GNRC, and then it actually was issued by WeGo. And we don't got them yet, but they've given me a pretty good feeling that we're going to get them. And one of them is specifically for the work that we do with Williams County School Districts to help use some of these dollars to help with the funding for the output of expenses that Franklin Transit does, and we can also help out in other area transits. And then, we have a Williams County van pool that, the county helps us with TMA Group. And just an excellent partner that continues to grow. We just purchased 5 more vans. With the return to work, it's kind of beefing back up for people going back and using public transit to get back to in the beauty of Doge. What's interesting is 2 of our biggest partners are Tennessee National Guard and VA. So we do a ton of federal employees. So they have a commute benefit. So it's a real pain. We're on month 3.5 of recertifying every single one of their people through their program, which involves dealing with the state, your local offices, and then also dealing with Washington and the DOT for securing their benefits. But it also is refreshing that, that Doge effect is affecting just not necessarily cuts, but making sure that, the money's been used properly, wisely, and things like that. So we expect the 5 vehicles that we just purchased to be all back on the road, serving people by the middle of June, and then we'll anticipate getting another 5 to 10 more. So that's a good sign for, people going back to work and using public transit instead of cars to get there.
Good, thank you for sharing, Commissioner. You're here, do you have anything?
I actually have a question for my mayor, since he missed the first part of the meeting, the choice lanes. Are they gonna be paid by, actually Mayor Anderson, there's so many mayors. Are they gonna be paid, how are they gonna be paid for it? Mayor Anderson, there he is. Like, do you know how they're gonna be paid for the choice lanes?
So currently, the way that TDOT does funding, the choice lanes will have a dedicated source of revenue. We have not been told if the counties will participate, but the model that is being used, currently is they expect cities and counties to participate in that at some level. I.e. Franklin, I don't know how much you all put in just in the last 5 years to help get state.
10-year projects.
Yeah. So for the most part, we will. Spring Hill put in 30 million on that interchange, am I right? 32 million. So the answer is yes, but it's probably a question mark, how much and what percent.
Would we get revenue from that then also?
I doubt that we'll get to share in the state's revenue.
The choice lanes go to the private party, I believe.
Yeah.
That's the way I understand it.
Yeah.
Private parties are actually the one doing it, Chris.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And then if that's it, nobody else, okay, we'll go ahead and go to Cal.
Awesome. Thank you, Madam Chair. Michael Wood, the town administrator with Thompson Station, shot me an email just before the meeting. They weren't able to join today. They have their Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting later on today, and something came up. But his report is that the town's economic development analysis is on track to be completed this summer. So certainly we at Williamson Inc. look forward to connecting with them on that end. And then quick plug also on our end, Friday, May 30th, the next edition of our Policy Talk series will have Franklin Special District Superintendent David Snowden and Williamson County Schools Superintendent Jason Golden. And that's Friday morning. Program starts at 8 a.m. Networking starts at 7:30 over at Columbia State Williamson campus. And that's all I've got.
Okay, that's all the updates. I'll entertain a motion for decision. There you go.
Thank you.
Adjourn.